going to be doing a best of 9 grand final, which is also going to be very exciting. So if you're ready, KillerB, we can go ahead and get this third game on the road here.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Okay, I'll count us down in 3, 2, 1, go. And here we are, guys, on the stream, in with game number 3 for the TaToH versus Nicov series. It's tied up at 1 point apiece going into this third game, as we go to the home map of Nicov here, which is going to be, of course, Arabia. The question is, what are those civs going to be? And joining me here, and hopefully who's going to tell us what those civs are going to be, KillerB.
Hey, man. Yeah, I can tell you what the civs are. I'm scratching my head a little bit about what they are, but Celts for TaToH, and we are going to see Indians from Nicov. Indians have been played to incredible effect, I would say. As of late in this tournament, they're not unbeaten, but they're doing very well. Very dynamic and pliable civ. Celts is not quite so dynamic of a civ, but we'll see if TaToH can be the one to teach us how to beat Indians on Arabia. If anybody's going to do it, it's going to be the OG HD Pro TaToH.
Yeah, and I mean, this is the big question right now. I mean, I expected to see the Indians here. I really did. Nicov chose to play the Indians twice in both of his round 1 games. And we saw the Indians, I think, in every single round 1 set as well, at least one time. Obviously, players thinking that the Indians are a very strong civ right now. TaToH, however, I mean, choosing Celts is a really, like you said, a scratch your head kind of moment. Not really sure what the game plan is going into this, but I'm really excited to see what TaToH's got up his sleeve. Of course, we know that potentially the best way to take down the Indians is to be hyper aggressive, attack them early, attack them fast, attack them, quick. Make sure that they can't get to that sort of late game powerhouse death ball. Make sure that they don't get to the point where every villager only costs 40 food instead of 50 when they reach the castle age. Shut them down early, and maybe that is what TaToH is going to be planning on doing here. Interesting though that he's gone for the Celts still.
Yeah, TaToH with 4 vills on wood early may be indicative of a drush. It's not uncommon to drush with Celts, and like you said, it's possible for a Celts player to keep you on the defensive all game if they really push hard, especially up until the mid-castle age or so. TaToH's map is really defensible. He's got a really nice back gold pile. He's got quite a bit of an area that he can wall off pretty easily. Getting to the stone will be a little bit of a challenge, but I think in the end he'll be just fine doing so. Has some close-by deer that he can push as well. So I think all in all, TaToH's got as good of a map as you can really ask for on Arabia here. And he should be able to execute whatever strategy he has up his sleeve. He should be able to do it.
His gold's okay at the back. Obviously, it should be safe back there. I mean, the only thing that I don't like about his map is the wood, really. He's got to take wood out on the left side, and he's actually built his first lumber camp on the front on this kind of forward woodland. And fortunately, he can actually wall up between the woodland and the cliff side, so he should be able to keep this area of his base quite safe with a few more houses out here as well. And he's going to do that very quickly, recognizing that this is probably the most dangerous area of the map for him to be taking wood right now. He could reasonably take wood anyway. So yeah, meanwhile, I mean, taking a look at Nikov's map, he does have a backwood, which is pretty good for him. His stone is, well, actually, look at this left side of his base. His main gold, second gold, and stone pile out here, all quite close together. So this left side is going to be quite important to him. And meanwhile, at the front of his base, well, on the right side, it's extremely open. Left side does look like he could be able to close this up a little bit more. But for the time being, as we said, the 4 villagers on the wood for TaToH. Don't forget the Celts have faster wood gathering as well. We're expecting to see that barracks coming up for him in a moment.
Yeah, I think Nikov's map, like you said, one really interesting part of it is that both of his golds are clustered together along with the secondary stone to the left of his TC. If you're TaToH and you're thinking about getting aggressive with early maybe men-at-arms or towers or anything of that sort, this would be a great spot of the map to take advantage of. That would leave Nicov taking gold basically nowhere. He needs those gold piles.
Exactly, because his other gold is way at the front, and I think this could be a good area for TaToH to abuse in the early game. Plus the fact that he's got the hill back here, which if he can build a tower, he would also be on the wood line as well. But we'll see if he's planning on getting that aggressive, because right now, I mean, I would have expected to see that barracks coming up, but we're already at 7 minutes, and the barracks still isn't being constructed just yet. I think he's going to build it about now, but this is definitely going to be, if anything, man-at-arms from TaToH here, if he's planning on using this barracks to get aggressive, that is, because 6 minutes 30 or just under is your kind of drush timing. This is definitely not going to be that, as he does loom and will click up to the Feudal Age before producing anything. Meanwhile, Nicov, on the other hand, Feudal Age already coming in on 20 population, and of course you can do that as the Indians because your villages are cheaper as well. And I think we're going to see man-at-arms from TaToH here, absolutely, as he sends 2 villagers out to the mining camp right now.
Yeah, Nicov is going to be in time to scout that barracks coming up. I think he'll probably suspect what's going on here, especially with TaToH's score. TaToH, in the meantime, has done some really nice scouting, and he has found that area that I was saying might be really interesting. That might be the hot corner of the map, even though it's in the middle of the map. TaToH has found it already.
Yeah, we've got Nicov moving over 3 villagers to the gold here. And I wonder if Nikov's going to go straight into archers, perhaps. Actually, it's pretty common to see the Indians doing a scout rush, but with 3 vills already on gold, I mean, unless he's planning on going man-at-arms as well, then maybe we'll see a range coming up and go straight into archers here. Let's see. Well, it's got to be, surely. Yeah, it's got to be the archery range. Otherwise, he would have built the barracks a lot sooner if he was planning man-at-arms.
Yeah, Nicov getting a ton of damage on to TaToH's scout, so that's going to slow TaToH down a little bit. Would have been nice to have that scout on high HP. Nicov was able to get on a hill, and TaToH kind of stood and fought him for quite a while, trying to sneak up and snipe the red scout with those couple of militia that are out. Feudal Age for TaToH will be in a moment. And like you said, 2 vills on gold suggest men-at-arms. By the time those men-at-arms die, TaToH could foreseeably wall his entire side of the map in really safely.
Yeah, but again, I mean, I question whether that's what you want to do versus the Indians here. Just, the economy bonus of the Indians is so huge, and the fact that the Indians can kind of defend against almost anything is just, it's a risky position to put yourself in, as those men-at-arms are coming forward. Militia are coming forward, and the men-at-arms tech is done in 10 seconds. Nicov here straight into archers, though, off of 20 population. I feel like this is a civ that Nicov really likes, just for that early game eco and the ability to go 20 pop into double archery range production is quite formidable. And also, obviously, a great natural counter to the men-at-arms as well. He's already got 2 archers out by the time TaToH makes it across with the men-at-arms, and Nikov's able to put up a quick defense. So I think TaToH here, he is going to wall up, and you can see he's doing that right away with the stone walls even in the center, and he's just going to give this early game to Nicov here.
Yeah, TaToH is also stonewalling up parts of the map that were already walled, so he is really, really thinking about booming. Like you said, aggression, I'm with you on this. I think aggression would be the way to go, but TaToH must have a trick up his sleeve here, because he's going to basically surrender map control to his opponent, Nicov. He's going to surrender these men-at-arms for really cheap. Nicov will give his scout away, which I don't think he needed to do, but in the end, those men-at-arms should go down without harassing the economy at all from Nicov.
Oh, he's done nothing. He's done absolutely nothing to hit to Nikov's eco. He's spending a lot of villager time, a lot of resources walling up back at home here, and he's going to be just building up now slowly but surely towards the castle age. Nicov, on the other hand, I mean, he's not got scouting info because he did bring his scout back home. He's going to send his archers across the map and find out very soon that this is going to be fully walled. But Nikov's going to be able to adapt pretty quickly, I feel, because Nicov already, his villagers costing less, will be able to very quickly adapt and get himself up to the castle age with relative ease as well. And, making a few archers here, it's not going to be a huge setback. And still, these men-at-arms haven't really achieved anything for TaToH either.
Yeah, TaToH at the moment will finish up his walls in the north. I'm keeping an eye on that villager to see if he goes to stone. But for now, there's 115 stone in the bank for TaToH, so maybe a 2 TC build He will have to go and start taking stone if he's going to build more, and if he's going to build woads, of course. But for now, we will keep an eye on Nicov, who's coming across the map with the archers. He's going to find his opponent walled in. Resource-wise, 200 food for Nicov, 150 gold, 400 food, 200 gold for TaToH. So TaToH's out a little bit ahead of Nicov, but probably not in a incredibly meaningful way. I think Nicov will identify this quickly and adjust accordingly.
Exactly, and we'll look right now and see Nicov probably switching into a few more farms very quickly here, making sure to bolster his food economy. He's probably going to start, well, I imagine he'll idle the ranges a little bit as well and get himself towards the castle edge. He's going to know that TaToH's walled because he'll click inside and he'll not be able to go through. So right now, Nicov going to have to adapt, but still, I mean, I question what Tata will do when he hits castle then as well. You know, are you going to go toe-to-toe trying to outboom the Indians? Because, again, I don't think that's something that's really going to work out too well in your favor. But since he's not moved out anything towards stone, it doesn't look like we're going to see a castle coming up or anything like that. It's a little bit mysterious at the moment what the game plan really is for TaToH here.
Like I said, TaToH may be one of the most interesting players in Age of Empires here. He's going to keep us guessing. Market Blacksmith is up for him. Resources are starting to tick up very quickly, and we'll see TaToH click up in just a moment. His men-at-arms are trying to roam around into the back of Nikov's eco, but they're not going to get anything done there either. So at least for now, the men-at-arms not able to do any damage to the economy of Nicov.
Yeah, so let's think about towards the... I guess think towards the later stages of the game and sort of army composition that we could come to expect. What we've spoke about so far is that the Indians are great at countering a lot of things. They counter night civs really well thanks to their camels. Their camels actually end up being pretty formidable going toe-to-toe with a lot of units actually, just in general, thanks to their additional armor and health from the Imperial camel upgrade. They can deal with archers very well, thanks to the Elephant Archer. We saw that in the Nicov versus Slam game, where he was able to beat the Britons with the Indians, with the Elephant Archers. They have great gunpowder in the late game as well, so if TaToH wants to go into something like Woad Raiders, for example, if Nikov's able to keep his economy secure, the additional one range on the gunpowder, on the hand cannons, definitely could be something to consider going into. And I just feel like whatever any civ wants to throw at them, I feel like the Indians have an answer. TaToH, though, moving over to stone on the right side, 3 villagers, so it's not going to be a castle, but he will at least recover the stone from the walls to build a second and third TC. But I mean, what are you thinking, KillerB, here? What are you thinking TaToH's army composition might look like?
Well, there's one interesting thing to note. TaToH is sneaking a villager out of his walls, which is kind of interesting. He's rebuilt that wall, and he's going to send her forward, at least for the moment. So we'll keep an eye on that Vill as she works her way across the map. Yeah, he's not on stone enough to be thinking woads. Of course, with Celts, there's no bloodlines, so you're not going to go deep into cavalry usually, especially since your opponent counters you so hard. You don't get camels, you don't get hand cannons, your archers aren't very good, your monks aren't very good, they don't have block printing. So I really don't know what the plan is. I feel like it has to be woads and siege, and maybe some trash mixed in there as well. But for now, a stable is coming up in the corner for the blue player TaToH.
Yeah, I think in the late game, he has to incorporate that siege in order to have any chance. But again, I mean, the Indians can quite easily add their bombard cannons and deal with that. So, yeah, it's questionable. I mean, the standard sort of meta, I guess, in the Castle Age for the Celts is more often than not, you'll see crossbows. And then they transition away into woads later, and siege, of course, and halbs. But in this game, I mean, the stable on the right side coming up outside of the walls, he's trying to be sneaky. Nicov, of course, is on the way up to the Castle Age now as well. He's got a way to go yet, but he's going to be walling up on this right side, making sure his base is nice and secure, and for the time being, actually queuing up more archers as well, sending them out across the map, keeping the map control, and trying to see what's going on. But he's not going to see this, which is the 2 stables. It's just very strange. Very strange. I mean, I don't know what these few knights may do, but Nicov here has got quite a few archers inside of his walls, and if he keeps them there and upgrades them to crossbow, the non-bloodlined knights aren't going to be that effective, I feel.
It's a really interesting thing to build those stables outside the walls, because knights are pretty quick. They get across the map pretty fast, and putting those stables maybe I don't know, half a screen or a full screen closer to your opponent might not give you the biggest advantage. So I'm not exactly sure. TaToH must anticipate owning this part of the map as we go through the game. But those first few knights start to come in, and they're going to find that they are already basically walled out of this eco.
Yeah, and Nikov's got his army on the left side of his base, sending it out across the map, but I think he'll have to bring it back as soon as he realizes these knights are out here. TaToH right now coming in with 2 knights at a time, and, well, +1 defense is done, but as we say, no bloodlines here. So without any ranged units to back this up, he is actually adding a monastery, by the way, as well, but without any ranged units to back this up, Nicov can very easily very easily re-wall and repair these walls comfortably. He's doing crossbowman, bodkin arrow straight away. And this army, actually, he's not coming back at all. I mean, that's kind of confident play from Nicov there. Confident that he can actually keep TaToH out whilst he himself does a counter-attack, dropping a monastery and a siege workshop on the front here.
Yeah, Nicov kept TaToH out there by a whisker. That gate dropped just after Nicov was able to wall. Go ahead. What's on your mind?
No, I didn't realize. I was looking at the forward from Nicov. I was like, oh, wow, that's a close one then, as he's walling this up. But I mean, the question is, who's going to buckle first? I mean, it's almost like, okay, well, TaToH sent everything forward. Well, not everything, but he is building forward. Nikov's building forward as well. Who's going to buckle and send their army back first? It looks like it's going to be Nicov, as he sends a lot of those crossbows back home to deal with these knights. And I think that's a good decision from him, as those knights will start to break down these palisades slowly but surely.
Yeah, Nicov has a much smaller sliver of the map, and he's got mostly palisades. So I think once he identifies that his opponent is pushing on him pretty hard, he's got to go back home. TaToH's got stone walls on parts of his map, and he's a lot safer, although Nicov is pushing on the weakest part of those walls for the moment. Crossbows from Nicov +2 damage. TaToH's adding in monks and siege, and he's starting to do some good harassment here. I feel like TaToH's in a pretty good position to suppress the Indian economy from growing too big.
Yeah, it's interesting actually, because Nikov's walled himself into quite a small area, and as you said, I mean, he's got a very small slither of land, and Nicov at the back has built a second TC, at the moment building that defensive siege workshop. I actually feel like maybe the answer for Nicov could be a couple of camels here, just to deal with the mangonel and the knights, but I guess then he still has to contend with the monks. So sticking with the monks, mangonel and crossbow composition for the time being, and it seems to be working quite well, as he does break down a house on the front and sends in 3 mangonels. TaToH's TC coming under fire already, and right now things are hotting up on both sides of the map.
Yeah, it's a really interesting match so far. Both guys are all offense, a little bit of units in defense, a couple crossbowmen for Nicov. Of course, countered pretty hard by the mangonel from TaToH on the front. Oh my god, TaToH gets 2-for-1 mangoes. While I was looking away, he's actually going to get 3-for-1? No, 2-for-1. So really nice defense from TaToH with a single mangonel, able to really hold Nicov off a little bit longer.
Yeah, very nice. Definitely slowing things down there. Trading like that is absolutely key here. And on the other side of the map, you've got Nicov losing another mangonel at home as well to the mangonel of TaToH out here. TaToH's going to send the knights in, disrupt the eco a little bit, but you know, as we've already said, the lack of the bloodlines tech, and with only +1 defense, they're going to go down very quickly. But yeah, don't underestimate the strength of that Celt siege, firing faster, giving you the edge in those little micro battles. And now Nikov's kind of lost a bit of momentum on the front, and also losing quite a bit back at home as well. I think TaToH's got him in a good position, to be honest with you.
Yeah, TaToH here seems to be leading this particular dance, and he's doing really nicely with his mangonels. I'm still kind of
sorry.
Go ahead.
There was a huge mangonel shot over at this house, and I didn't even realize how big that was, because the house is actually obscuring all the dead bodies. But I think TaToH killed about 10 crossbows out here, or something like that. Really nicely done.
Oh, I missed a big mangonel shot. That's such a bummer. But I'm still enjoying TaToH's mangonel micro. It appears that he chose Celts for this particular reason. There's really nothing else that he's using that is Celt specific. He's using kind of very basic knights, using very basic monks that I don't think he's upgraded at all. And he's just roaming forward with mangonels, making it rain at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And Nicov here going to have to kind of focus more on defending now, as his aggression was pretty much dealt with very quickly by TaToH there. TaToH going to lose one mangonel down here, but we'll be able to get the second one out of harm's way. We'll also lose a monk for free, as Nicov here is able to keep that mangonel doing some work. But yeah, I mean, my big concern right now is that Nikov's third TC was very late in comparison to TaToH's. TaToH's eco is actually looking great, as he actually adds a fourth TC on the front now as well. And I think, yeah, I mean, TaToH here also going to be able to use this knight. Oh, goodness me. If he's able to get a mangonel here for free, well, not for free, but with this knight, that would be pretty nice. But delete his knight there so it doesn't get converted by the monk that's just kind of roamed into range. Lots and lots of siege for both players, and this is where Tata is going to be pretty comfortable because, like, as we say, the faster firing, giving him quite a micro edge in this one.
TaToH has been going into stone for a little while, and I'm interested to see where his castle's going to go. He's kept the pressure on Nicov for quite some time. I think woads are going to be a really powerful unit at this point in the game, as they almost always are. He might be able to swamp the map out with them, but I'm interested to see if he'll put that castle near the two stables and the monastery. Those are in such an offensive position, and maybe he can aid his push on the other side with a castle on the front, so keep an eye out for that.
Oh, TaToH once again trading really nicely with the mangonels here. He's almost going to get 3 for 1, I feel. Oh no, he's going to lose it. So it's really not too bad at all for TaToH in terms of how the trades are going at the moment. That castle, though, as you quite rightly say, is definitely on the cards for TaToH here. He's got 930 stone in the bank, so that castle should be coming up fairly soon from somewhere. I like the way that TaToH's using his knights as well to get in there and just snipe a couple more mangonels whenever he gets the opportunity. And this TC from Nicov is actually going down pretty quickly here, as these two mangonels go ham on the damage. So yeah, right here, TaToH in a very powerful position, and wow, we're not even going to see the castle drop because it's already GG, as Nicov calls it right there. And I've got to say, that was a really good game from TaToH, and he controlled his units very, very well. You know, I kind of didn't expect it to go this way at all.
Yeah, me either. TaToH, Celts versus Indians just seemed like a really tough matchup. It was hard for us to envision what the unit was that he was going to lean on. Well, the unit that he leaned on there was the mangonel. He really did micro very nicely, took advantage of the faster mangonel fire, won a lot of mangonel micro battles, and in the end, not only defended his larger eco, but was really pushing in on Nicov, about to take down Nikov's initial TC. So really nice, clean win there from TaToH.
He had 24 additional villagers at the end of that game. He had double the military value as well. TaToH there with a lot of mangonels. And yeah, I just think overall, I mean, the KD kind of tells us quite a lot, because everybody was, well, both players, sorry, were making very high value units that game. There was a lot of mangonels, there was a lot of monks, and TaToH had 32 units killed to 21 units lost. So trading very well. And I think that's really impressive, to be honest with you. Obviously, I mean, the thing for Nicov there is that he didn't make any camels. And on the left side, he was actually building 2 stables right at the end of the game. And Nicov, I think maybe he could have added camels a bit earlier. TaToH didn't have that many monks, and the camels would have worked as a natural counter to the knights, and they would have also dealt with the mangonels very well as well. So I do question that decision from him.
Yeah, Nicov there also had quite a bit of resource in the bank. I don't know if he was saving up to click to imp while his stables went up, but I guess we'll never know. He was just a little bit too slow to get his game together. TaToH put his foot on the pedal pretty early in the Castle Age, and a really nice game from TaToH. Going to take the series 2-1.
Yeah, well played to him, and you know, I think most people would have probably had Nicov down as the better player, but TaToH did play a very good game there in Game 3, and I quite enjoyed the Team Islands game as well. I think he did an interesting strategy for that one as well. Again, I mean, I'm still interested in, you know, why Celts specifically. I mean, the only bonus which I can think which is really going to be benefiting them is that faster firing siege, and I don't know if that was the sole reason why he chose to go for that. So well played. It's going to be a 2-1 victory to TaToH there. And we're going to have our next set of games coming up very soon. That is going to be BacT versus Tim. And we'll be getting those games underway in